hate more on Cyril than the controller Cyril.
That's true.
You understand where I'm going?
Maria, I think it's conditioning from.
Yeah, I say you have a right to hate him.
So, like, there's this issue that Christianity. I agree, Christianity it's any by adopt as a religion of state. By really the Witchcraft Act. So that let's practice spirituality in South Africa. Never all our condition from primary. We are assembly who fezabarigi ovala sedumeti biblical studies. So they are conditioning you from so that you see this one which is yours as foreign and demonic. Eya renwe ya go pasa. We wanna ilbo heitene. Ho apere di pheta automatic gore yer into ya lawyer. So, and then what adopt ings? I agree Christianity to adopt as Europe.
Yes.
The way of dressing, barapela ka sekgowa matšatši ebile o hwetša go gyane. Batho ba go gyane kana ke vatsonga 100%. Mara ba rera kae English. They feel superior ba bolela ka sekgowa. Ho ya go ke tsene ko majute Judaism na ke na lo ya lo teng. Ho fihla kwa o tshwanetse ba go fe lebitso la sejuta. Ba go fe dibuka tsa di tradition o ithute tradition tsa sejuta di culture le kapare le go ja gore o je ka sejuta. So you become Jewish, you lose yourself. Ho ya go si Islam the same thing. O ithuta go rapela ka si Arabic o apara sa Arabic o ja sa Arabic. So every religion turns you against yourself. Mara ba bang ba tsene ka di Witchcraft Act ba thoma di African churches. Okay. Like CC where they adopt the cultural activities tsa rena tsa setso. Go ya go CC gona le mmino mo ba re ke dikiba. Lenkedi. Ke mebino yang ya badimo ya setso. They adopted it because they couldn't practice it. But under umbrella ya kereke you can practice. So I want Christianity le ona influences the way but however no tsena o hlakana le nna ke le ngaka ke na le Bible ke na le speaker le ya la ipusha di tsa mabya le jeli le sidimo ka gore this Bible le tlile ka bo 18 something ya le batho o tshwere ke bo go ba khale then ho tshwara ke batho hantsha a o tshware ke batho ba tlhogofetse no tshwara ke batho ba le ba go mara. So wena o nukus example na mina ni mhlaba mara hembala micheka yo fana swita njani or wena ba re o ne badimo ba nguni o jwa botswana ba re o gogo mahlasela o jwa botswana why goes cause na re zinkiri re kwe ba re o ne le sedi
a ona gogo limpopo mara ba thwasa
ba mara o ne claro change je ba re o ne badimo ba bangoni mara ya go KZN a sinkira kwa ba re monno bina malopa le go KZN ke kuku mamang ke ngaka tshupe ya ai go mara bangoni ba tshwara ba rena batho ba borena ke bokoko le bomkhulu re apara gere o itse gwera bolo njeti mapalu na ke gere one ra apara lo ja go swana re bijana bo gogo le bomkhulu re ikira ka intwe ka gore motho a ntshwereng wa 1700 answere lo rena a phela ko shaishai go mobileng wena o swere ke motho na phela ko Botswana ka 1800 batho ba ororo ba swana mpho ya bona ebile ba rata dilo tsa go swana ba berekisa masela go swana mara ya re berekisa re apara dilo tsa go swana interesa mabito ya ngwe ba gogo mahlasela kokwan man mara how so wa bona there's been infiltration ya dilo foreign things mo in our religion spirituality so either ke Christianity or this fashion ya go tsamaya le dinako tša gone bjale ka gore ntwe ngwe le ngwe ka re bjane ke trend so o ka se
ma windless curtain
re ke touch di spirituality
before we tswa mo go spiritual ke no go butcha part so if go join Islam by lompa lina la Muslim go ba al Sheikh Mashiach and then kinali Christian name so kino go butcham a ona magwa le reng lina le sfane ke ya Basotho a ona magwa le reng since they came into South Africa nakwele ne ba re they are Europeans ane belo ba re ke bona
South African.
they are Africans now ne ba gona ba no gore ebile le ska ka sfanning is it's an extreme,
just a name,
yeah, o lo reng idea ke Thabo Samuel o ke Ntsako Tshepiso.
Never. I don't find that.
Go dira why go ba so?
Because rena re nya go tshwana le bona ba nya go tshwana le rena. So motho ke role model la o ira ntwengwe le moedi anke le goa because you will then feel superior. So rena ho tsena mo spirituality ho ka level agrema
so ba tla spirituality sa rena
au agre na ra adoptile ja bona ona belo re ma Catholic re ma Anglican ebile re na di uniform o sala bona le khwala ba bere uniform ba re madodana ase wezela mago
madodana se weselte madodana ase santi
salwa e bona kae oro o lebela video ja bona maroma ba bere uniform phutego au a di gona ke rena batho ba bantšhu ba we always tsia dilo tša batho re di adopt ebile re exaggerate lenyalo for example re adoptile white wedding ape ka white wedding ntate wa ngwanyana ke ena patellang lenyalo le wise and then ba iranyana nthunyana hey rena we adopt and then we go
what 200 people seated
yeah
and then kamuntle ke 500 tsolla strata sa luxury
yeah and then but ba rena they feel hora sa ira white wedding ha nyala. So and remember white wedding is a traditional wedding ya makgowa, so the way you feel inferior how we really mahadi o feel like I ise ke fihle ke swantse ke di etsa makgowa pe then batho ba tla ntlhompha. So what's the spirituality agara hierarchy ya rena na rena le khoshi ke yone e bushang agara so me phahlo a e phahla o si phahla kuba ku pfula lembe nguba ku kombela mfula like they would go to muchachi o khopela pula kere khoshi ne matla ka se moya ka gore ke ena bolela le badimo I loje di ntšha spirituality di thoma go khoshing di biwa go khoshing ho ya komeng ba tshwantse ba be go khoshing pele and those things then re be le ngaka nganga ina ere ta ku herbalist imulu wa kombiwa ku miri e ba kokwani wa yena mimiri yo lapha mababzi. This would be our magicians because ba tseba science ya dihlare gore ke mixitse ntweliye go tswa mollo re be le mongoma mongoma ke mothola go thwasa so ina e Xitsonga ina Xikwembu swa Vatsenze ku loko xi humini Xikwembu xexo xi vulavula ririmi ra Xitsonga. But because we also incorporated the ndavus kotala kuma ku ya vana Xikwembu swa vandawo loko iri Mutsonga van'wani lava va tshama hala ya ku ri na vangoni va kuma va ri na Xikwembu swa vangoni so munhu waloyi lo tirhisa ku tinhlolo iri I mungoma o ya ngakeng a gasha marapo ale a go fa ditaba then everybody nyamisoro ka se go ba ke medium
okay
e munhu lo bula kuna Xikwembu e bula na memoya ya lava nya kana lava nga lova wa femba one byale una lo bona videos tsa mazalwana ba re ba go rapelle ba ro ba ntse matimone motho a bolele mo wena ke nna mokete ke budia 1 2 3 ka polelo a rena re motho wa o femba and then go tswa batho ba le ba go fa ditaba o khona gore ke nya go bolela le kokwa ka mangma motho o le o khona go connecta le
it's a media that connects ka moleka
inyamisoro kuba namhlahli ngona mtako ke ngaka tshupe mundu wa bona go xifuba sweswe go lebeletse nga go botsa ditaba jao o ba ke bona le tsi di satla
ke lebo
a ke ra adoptile mabitso a se Kriste ra re ke mo profeta ba bang ba re ke I situnywa ne mara ka setso imboni ka sizulu ena ere umhlahli ba pedi ba tla re ke ngaka tshupe tshupe a beng tshupe o khona o boja ono bya le khona o mpoja re mona ke nyaka go kwa ka ke tsebo ro hwetse kae na ebe ke se chaka se moya go boja o mola modimolle o ne thaba mola o ne mothare o ro hwetse mola mogekolo ke a bona ke khona o bona tjaka pele le tjaka morao wa bona then ho ba le singwa mbatanda ke generalist o tseba ho femba o tseba ditaola xingwamatanda holo ya khale na va tseya va teka munhu hala mutini va teka wena va nge va ku lombetaka hi vuloyi va teka ntsumi ya le vuhosini va famba vanhu lava ya le ka xingwamatanda loko yi loya ya vuya yi beriwini nhloko leyi o ra re ke mafelo ya moloyi ya eba ka gore ba uša mongomi ya o tseba gore ne bothata
so what's that the reason o bona ke tshwere phone ne ke nyoko tsena go in any of those podcasts go for an opportunity to clarify a few things ne yeah but I just want to maybe to correct to give an opportunity to correct yeah others are worried kataba ya the links between vatsonga and I'm talking about the umbrella and unfortunately I'm giving you an opportunity to answer on the previous podcast that you were not part of the parallels that they drew between the Ngunis and the Tsongas. So I just want you to maybe in short explain why, and I tell people a lot already, the Tsonga language, its next its closest relative, it's Nguni. But you find the Ngunis have this animosity towards the Tsongas. Just explain why there are a lot of Nguni words in Xitsonga. Just explain that part, just so you could understand.
Well, my understanding is that depending on naudulaga. Erge fe example mo pedi wa mo amaskral. Ona influence ya dipolelo tse dintsi. Ona fa ba re keng ba pushback rich ba pedi ba pushback le re mapulana a kere ba dula le maswati le batsonga. So if you listen to them, they have a lot of Tsonga words there, moshipulane le swati words. So batsonga, remember mo batsongeng rena le bambai.
Okay.
Mbai is more of Swati and Nguni and Shironga. So I don't know if it was originally one family and they branched, but yeah, there's some similarities. Kadi languages is arenat. Yeah, so there was Shitswa, there's Shichopi, and then there's Shironga, Shibila, for example. When you're in Mozambique, you can differentiate, but you can hear this person when they talk. Like there's this assumption that when you come to from Mozambique, you are Shangan.
Yeah.
Are you aware of that? Most people, when they say I'm from Mozambique, automatically say
yes.
And then there's so many languages that Shangan is even just a fraction of the population.
Yes.
The Shangan. So but there's similarities between Nguni. Because I think the reason is because they are Bantu languages.
Yes.
So they would be. That's
ordinarily,
why. Yeah. Even Moses Sutung. When I'm because this is the Bantu languages. So I think the similarities is there. Not that we are from one.
Okay. So here's Mtolisi Magubani, or please bring another Tsonga historical expert. Maybe then we can start from that point. Magubani is a descendant of Basotho, but today Singamazulu, and yes, we acknowledge that we come from Basotho. He wants to understand the links that you just drew. Or please bring another Tsonga historical expert.
Oh yeah, no, my
understanding. We can start from that point.
One.
Magubani is descendant of Basotho, but today Singamazulu. And we acknowledge that, and we come from Basotho. So I think you touched on it when you spoke about. You said the Balois are Barotsi, and then Basotho ones are
Basotho, the Matovela, the Shiburi.
Yes, but they are now assimilated into Batsonga.
That's correct.
Okay.
So we also have, for example, I met one of the Mabundas who's from KZN.
Mabunda from KZN.
So
Mabunda
speaks very fluent Zulu, Itakazelo is Zulu, and there's, for example, this
Yes.
There's Matebula, there's Mokansi. They even changed the way they write their surname. They say Mokatsi. Revesi would be say Levesi.
Okay.
And then automatically they are Tswana-fied. Because Lema Bizo Gibo Tabiso Levesi, Tepo Mokatsi. So how Tepo Mokatsi, would you even trace it to Vatsonga? Never. Because they even change the way they write. So, but because it's Bantu languages, there will be similarities or normal. This way we have it in Xitsonga. So I don't think it's because we are from one tree. But I don't know. Because it's Bantu languages, there's some similarities there.
Okay. So they say, nice interview, except he clearly does not understand Siswati. It's not a mixture of Tsonga and Nguni. It's Tekela Nguni, which is actually traced back to East Africa. This was said by, let me find the name of the person. He just said PM.
Okay, what I've learned with languages is that a language will evolve. English, if you check most of the words that are even in the dictionaries, nobody used those words. But they were used then. So your language will evolve because of where you stay with all the other dialects that are around there. So you will then adopt words. That's Tsonga. Like right now, whenever we say ahe, a person will greet you, say ahe, and then you or you will say Afghan and then you say ahe. But when you look at it, ahe is a Sotho word.
So there's one by Taki William Mujapilu. He says, my guy talk rubbish. When the Tsonga came South Africa from Mozambique, was the Shangaan, and they started to, he wrote it very badly, let me try. But he says, when the Tsonga came to South Africa from Mozambique, the Shangaan, they started to call themselves Tsonga. They don't have land here in South Africa. Guyana is the land of Balobedu. And then you are clueless, but Tsonga lived here before it was called South Africa and before Soshangana was born. Who then named Shangaan is from? Well, it's just people
but then
speaking.
Okay, this guy came around 1821, 24, and then started conquering until he died at 1858 around there. So since he arrived there, there have been migration to the Soutpansbeck, to Transvaal. Remember in Mpumalanga would have the Munisi and Xhosas. They've been there for generations, for centuries. And as we were saying, the Balois have been there and the Malulekes. So, but there was migration because of these wars. A lot of Tsonga started coming this way. But remember, they were not called Tsonga. And they were not called Shangaan. You would be called by your clan. And then remember, a clan name would come like Bahlabi. They say they were staying where there's this plant called Nhlaba. So you would either be, the clan name would be because of the area, you'd be called under that area where you were staying, or it would be the name of your king. So people were called by that. That's why there was no Vatsonga. They would say Lavaya Vale Buronga because they were staying that side. So they started migrating in numbers around that time of 1821 until the borders started in 1885.
Even now we don't have them. It's just a
bunch of our imagination. So these people get. But the point is that Vatsonga have been here for centuries. As you say, the Mukaris have been there for centuries. The Balois, the Xhosas in Mpumalanga, and the Munisis and the Malulekes in Malamulele. And there, West Guyana, we heard from historians that they were Bankomati, the Ndlovus. They used to stay there centuries back. So, well, there is this recorded migration, because now people started writing agargabo 1800. So that's why we can record to say vatsonga, some of them started coming because they were running away from these killers. Yes.
So I think I'm done with checking the questions from the podcast.
Yeah, and the language issue, the Siswati, I think Ntago explained to say Siswati is more of a Nguni, and then some weights of the Tsongas. Yes. So if you look at our dialect, then I'm saying there's some similarities there and there, because we are Bantu people, so there would be those similarities in languages.
Yeah. Now, in closing, what is it that you thought we did not touch? We did not touch.
They were asking me about the people who used Mapulandlela as Itagazelo, Sreto.
Yes.
But they don't understand where it started.
Okay.
They incorporated it in their praise songs.
Okay.
And then this comes after this guy conquered those clans Vatsonga in Mozambique. And he would take these guys, because they were his slaves, he would mark them.
Okay.
They would be the first line of defense.
Okay.
So, meaning if they start killing you there. Because, so now,
they're not warriors.
Adopt those things and now start praising themselves without understanding what actually you are saying. Hey, I am a former slave. And there's this one, Ndavezita. Most of our kings, chiefs there in Limpopo, they use Ndavezita to refer to themselves, or they are subject to refer to them as Ndavezita. But if you listen to Zulu historians, that Ndavezita is not referring to a king.
What does it mean?
It means it's a praise song for the Mbata family, the Biela, the Njangasi, and the Zulu family. It comes from this guy called Jamaka Ndaba. So they take that Ndaba, and then their great grandfather, I think, is Mpangazita. So they take Ndaba and Zita, they say Ndabezita. So it was a praise for them, for that family. But now we adopted these words and we're calling ourselves Ndabezita without even really understanding where it comes from. And
but doesn't it, in itself, for their defense, how language morphs and changes and new words are formed?
You must get the basic. Okay. I have that annoying habit of researching things.
Yes.
So that's why, for example, you know the calendar we're using now.
The Gregorian one.
Yeah. You know those names that are the month of March, April, what do they mean? Or where do they emanate from? Mavitso Sunday. If you listen, every word is praising a specific God.
Yeah.
But we use them so loosely, without even understanding. So I had a habit of trying to find out, okay, if we're saying this, where does it come from? So ho reta badimu ba hona le ya rena ya Gazankulu. Akere bare batho ba fetsa go forma Gazankulu. They even wrote a praise to say eba mabosha ndlebe eba tsonga boka ba ngatsongoliswa ngwana eba tukulu ba gwambe na dzabane. What does that mean?
Tell us.
Now, when you say Ntokuluwa Gwambe, you are saying I'm a son or granddaughter of Gwambe. Gwambe who's Balu, or Kiwa Balu, Kimotolo Balu. Hore Zavani, you are referring to Malulek. Hore Ngungunyan, you are referring to Numan. You see, it's three families here.
Yeah. So is it wrong to...
No, but this was taught in schools. Even others now, those who went to school, they still recite that.
No, the reason I'm asking you is it wrong to do that? Because in itself, it's a way of killing our separate roots to make ourselves one. Because remember, as an African, that's why I hate borders. As an African, I always want us to forget what separates us, but what unites us. And you will understand why Bergman, Dr. Umar Johnson speaks about when Africans vote, they first want to check, okay, ke Malema. Yes. So even if Malema's ideology is correct,
but because of
yes, someone will not vote for him. But his same ideology, spoken by someone in Cape Town, that person in Cape Town would vote for that Malema Part 2 than vote for Malema Part 1, even if they say the same thing.
No, that's true.
You understand?
That's true.
Because you ask yourself, we said ANC, EFF, and MK are actually singing the same song. I think the difference would be they are singing the same song, but they are not dancing the same.
But that is human nature. I don't think there's something wrong with that.
Yeah, I wanted to say this separation sometimes is on tribal and clan lines.
These guys had an opportunity to unite us without mentioning their grandfathers. But now, when you, like really, Magwinda, proudly, like really.
So is it a necessary rhyme taught at school?
No. Yeah, it was taught in school. So that's why these people are conditioned from those who went to school and recited this thing. They're even teaching their kids that thing. Because that's what they know. Like really, guys.
Look, cultural imperialism.
They have an opportunity to write a poem, or unite them without mentioning specific families. Okay, if you say vatsonga boka bangatsonga song one, you're not mentioning anybody there. You can elaborate further on that. But when you start saying like really me bra, yeah, basically you're saying now I must subscribe to
and it gets us to the part. Is that what motivated you to start writing correct literature?
Yeah, because we're trying to educate people to say, guys, don't just find out where these things come from.
And tell us about the books. Yes. As you attempt to correct this.
In the book, we have researchers who wrote books.
Yes.
Kuna book ya matimu ya vatsonga, which details our history back from 1200 to around 1500. We have book ya Mandla Matebula, 800 years of Tsonga history. So it will tell you Bahlawe migrated from what we call Mozambique now, or from St. Lucia Bay to Mozambique, to where, when, and all that. So it documents that history. So we also have book like Tolwanga Abui, Frederick Kotso, Ishamusela ndavuko wa vatsonga, what they used to eat, the ishiadi koma lidi komba bungaka di department ja bungaka khoshi merekwa khoshi king akere khoshi, you would have to protect your land, so to ensure that your people are safe. So a khoshi na analysis responsibility. That's why I don't see a value ya khoshi hayelo re khoshi a sale motho tradition wa setso akere khoshi because
yes.
Yes,
you are traditionally.
Yeah,
you are no longer tradition.
I was a passer.
Yes.
Crest. I was a passer. I was a Setsonga, we were
Yeah.
So why do you still want that title? Because of the money. So that's why I don't see any value in these things anymore. The Indians don't have a king. They still manage to. Yeah, the Africans, they are cultural people.
They're economically empowered.
They don't have.
So those books, I want you to continue with the books.
Oh yeah.
Are they written in Xitsonga?
But 800 years of Tsonga history is written in English. So meaning a person who wants to know about their history, but they didn't learn Xitsonga. Like now, I learned Kitutile more Northwestern Alubukeng Wabarke Saharona. It was like a Bible like this. So Nari Tuta Sezwana go school. Yanaribua Sezwana. Okay. Mara Lesipedia or so Mara Bukacharina mostly Kisitsonga, but there are those who are written in English.
Okay.
So somebody who's around you in Gauteng never learned Xitsonga can have an opportunity to know where they come from.
Yes.
And then
and then continue with those books.
So Renali the proverbs.
Okay.
Renale the storybooks, the novelle, tsa Setsonga, like Shisomisani, and the little bana ba skolo. ba ithutang ko from grade 1 to matric. So we have the dictionary, those books tsa Xitsonga.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's history books, novels, stories, literature, yeah, lifestyle ya Vatsonga. So we have every category.
Published by?
Currently ke bereka le Sasabona Publishers.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I also this guy.
Yeah.
Mabunda. There's very Tsonga beverages by Mashudu. We sell these gins, wines, vodkas. So for your wedding, re khona ho brandela or mashiane, lobola celebration, very Tsonga, re go kwalle sereto sa heno mola, and then re go tlisetse di cases tsa very Tsonga wines.
Yes.
And then spirits.
Okay. I do see unale your social media handles there, and those who need to contact you will use the same social media handles that we have on
TikTok,
your name badge. Yes,
Facebook.
Yes, to contact you.
Yeah.
And then so this you sell to people or you sell to public? When I say to people and public, I'm saying, do you have this on retail or people come and bulk buy? And then yes.
Yeah, currently we only work etenko tsanin ko di shopo.
Okay.
Ko spa, but currently we distribute ko batho ba rekisang like body barking the distributors tabial re khona ba supply ba rekisetse di customers tsa bona.
Yeah.
But also normally our target market ke batho ba nang le mebereko like manyalo,
Yes.
the unveiling.
Yes.
So we then supply you.
And then what we want
we personalize it the way you want it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then give you the price. Or the price can depend on what.
I agree with you. Oreka like it's a 350. Wine it's a 92 rand. But oreka in bulk, re ba re go khona go beela discount.
Okay. Okay.
All
right. No. Re leboga or e dula mo. All right. No. Re leboga. What other things do you do beside this?
I get actually the belani, so
Okay.
traditional attire, so belani mi check at the yellow, the apron. So mpahla ndavuko the hembe ta vanuna this.
Hence you say the lifestyle.
We want to keep us. We brand it. Rebia
Yes.
put him here nuka mola.
Yes.
O isegi ke.
Re batlokwa.
Re go diela lena ba. Re go kwalla sefane le lebitso la tlene. And then ra go kwalla le lebitso la hao ka mo. Ra bia put him here.
Okay.
Keep ji jare nachi.
Okay.
So le di hempe traditional di hempe marara accommodate ba venda ko re kriksha minwenda le misisi.
Okay.
Musisi le malungu.
Okay.
Jija attire ya sevenda.
Okay. No, it's fine. I think Libonolo Mukrea guy on his socials, Batlau Kreona, and then Batau contact. Nakatswalla, Ronaldo Shotamo.
Mokhalaba go issue. Mokhalabo maloba na bolela ka go nyala. Ke ntsa ko re go fumana. Ore ka kitso yaka.
No, is it not the one way I was saying, but Barakuna, but allowed to block or Banyala and Leva.
So my understanding from my grandparents, because they would marry within.
Yeah.
That's why Mama ke motloholo maluleke, and then maluleke ke motloholo manganye. Like so, they would marry within the clan.
Okay.
We don't bring foreigners yet.
Yes. Yes.
So that's why Kashitsonga malumu wateka tukulu.
Mr. Ilamus. Malumu aluma.
Ako nako magali ako mediashi beans. Sibitisa puti. So there will be a ritual that is performed so that you can go on. Agreba pasa. Ape ba le tsibisha mo badimo ba phahla mediashi beans go ndwa ntiro lwa wa traditional.
Shibwenzi le sia excuse. Ya ganga.
For us, we have to keep it within us.
Yeah.
For the community, we are.
Yeah.
And then also to avoid bringing foreigners or traitors within us, because
to disturb the culture. Yes.
Okay. So they would prefer, so that within my family, a lot of them married within. And generally,
within the generation, the prescribed.
I'm Mawunda.
Yes.
I married Kamabunda.
Okay. Okay, explain it. So, unyetsi ngwana wa ga Mabunda was fana sa le ena ke Mabunda.
Wena o le mashiane wa ya wa nyala ga mashiane.
Oh, so nangwe mi just means.
Yale le papa wa Mefro. O nyetse ha Mabunda ele Mabunda.
Man. Bunda.
So this has been practiced for generations to generations.
Oh,
it doesn't start now. But what you would avoid, they would say, "Iteka kanyimba ingwan." Renar batlogol ba khazamula. And then balek batlogol ba risenga. So you would marry kamuha risenga, not kamuha khazamula.
Maraki Mabunda ofel. And then the Khazamulas would be the parking. This because I said in the other podcast, or this reciprocal surnames, the clan names, kana.
For example,
rena in Sotho languages.
Rena
ki totems, rena ki this clan names, kana.
Rena clan name e vale totem ya ona. Mara une totem ya clan, une totem ya sefa. Agora re bahlabe setlen but as Mabunda rena le totem ya rena. And then mo Mabunda re khona o shumisha difane tsa bokoko hina ba ka hina ba ka bungeni line ya ka bungeni ba ka nkongonyi wa golatini wa mbyele, and then kuna ba ka nyabane la ba nga fikela la mtjatji ne ba ka nyamane ba ka nyabane ba ka shaki inyimba ingwane ya bahlabe ba ka Mabunda. So they use their fathers' names as surnames. Like the Nkunas, they would have Shilubani, Mklava, Shipalani, Kulaleni, Mboweni. These are Nkunas.
Very confusing.
And now you end up
it's
being
very
confused
confusing
because most of these people who are using Shipalani might not know that Shipalani is actually Nkuna.
Yeah, I see. That's what I'm telling you. These things, it's very confusing.
But it was also to allow us to marry.
And intermarrying makes it.
But it has been practiced in
the reciprocal name that I wanted was
India. India, they married like that.
Yes, I know, because the Akribana they are arranged. So the reciprocal names that I wanted was Istagazelo. Yes. So yes, so Linalina list Tagazelo that goes with the surnames. Surname of this doesn't marry with it. Ranarnale a totem that we venerate, and these totems kidi animals. And to you guys, do you venerate totems, and what are they? Are they surnames or are just?
No, totem.
For us, totem is strictly an animal.
For a night, it can be a land. Like the novellas would have land as their totem.
Yeah.
The Zita will have something else. Makam will have Marula.
Yeah.
So it can be a plant, it can be just a land, it can be an animal. Animals, strictly it's animals. I don't know of any Sotho families who do not have, but Ranaba Sotho. Okay. So the North Sothos, the Western Sothos, the South Sothos, all kid animals. Remember, depending on how far you take it, this deserves a podcast on its own. Bakoni. Yo, if I start Kabakoni, you know an area called Macharasdorp. Macharasdorp ke north of Carolina, Albert Lutuli municipality. That area, it's deep Koni tribe, to an extent that people are even saying the rest of the Ngona, the Ngunis and stuff, they all emanate from Bakoni, because and you know the Adam's calendar. Adam's calendar. Adam's calendar. You know where it is? It's in Mpumalanga. It's in deep Bakiabakoni. ke bakoni
It's one of the oldest man-made structures.
asela ya ba re nzalo elanga
Ke yona nzalo elanga. Yes. Plekela ke bokoni. But
Awa.
bokoni, you if that's why it deserves a podcast on its own because it will demystify a lot of things. When you read further, only the structures, the cycles. You remember those cycles that you see whenever it's because the podcast is long and I don't want to make it much longer than it is. That's why I'm saying it deserves another because you know there's it's long. Let me not dwell into that big rabbit hole because it's a podcast on its own. And I was thinking like in a little tau because we promised each other Nuguma. Oh, that tau. So he promised to sit with me down. I was in Limpopo, but what I want to do is I want to sit with him because I want us to dwell strictly into that. When I speak to him, but I know I may not get time because when he comes to Gauteng, he's always in a hurry. When I met him, we could not sit down because I want him to sit and explain because there are things that we do not understand and he understands them a lot. But anyway,
1 hour won't be enough for him.
Yes,
because it will also touch on the spirituality. And
the people who miss this thing that we are doing is they complain, your podcasts are so long because it takes about a week, maybe 30 minutes, and then I'll spend 15 minutes because they get disturbed.
Unless maybe
Part 1, part 2.
Part 2.
You know, like I did with Ntako, part 1, part 2. But like I say, I don't want it to be long, but I also don't want to suppress you.
Yeah.
And the nature of the talks.
No, we can always come back if there's.
They are sensitive. When I say something, I need to give context so someone may not misconstrue what I said. Because you guys are very harsh on us. So when we say something, I need to protect it and expand it so you could actually understand. Like someone is going to say, Mashane urile inzalwelanga asiyaba nguni kiaba koni inging.
That's why you have to explain.
Yeah, that's why I have to explain. That's why I tell you maybe let's leave it. But being the rest it may. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing this knowledge. What I always try to do is I always try to bring knowledgeable people, and knowledge is not dictated by me who is knowledgeable or not. Well, there's someone who's going to watch this and say, "Oh, Fumanu Ashanya," and our people, unfortunately, when they disagree without respect.
Yeah, and then
Barohana. And this is what we struggle with.
We still even lead the historians.
Yes.
You have this one historian saying this based on what he found, those who he interviewed and all that.
Yes.
You'll find a different version from this one. So that's why I want to take everything with a pinch of salt. So you gather information from different sources. Then you look at the similarities. So, and then to avoid you also research for yourself. And if you have a different view, you share it politely. Say,
You would see in the comments, someone is going to disagree with what you say because it puts them in a different light, but they are not going to say that guy is wrong here. This is the correct narrative. No, they're just gonna say he's wrong. He knows fuck off.
No, so, there's that defensive that comes out of us whenever we feel and then as for so long to arena and I go like on mafuka so le bonda bezita le mabulandlela le rena ba hlaberi theta mhlabendina what's about into mhlaba cricket line mara they used to those shangans they would call us mhlabendina. Meaning it's like saying Jandina or Lequapatina.
So in other words,
so in
other words, that thing of saying whoever conquers the rise the history
is correct.
It prevails.
And then now you're reciting it without understanding
the
where
context.
It comes from. So this was my Bulandela, Mslavendina, and Davezita. If you listen to where it comes from, it doesn't make sense to use those things.
Okay, so let's agree to close. I might call you, for what? Marriage. Can you discuss a marriage? and relations. So for example, agree, but Banguni, they've managed to practice even to the modern East Temple. Yours, it's only Leo Nyala cousin.
And then my grandmother was married with her sister. That was normal within us.
Yes. But
like I'm from, my mother's from Manganyi.
Yes.
Manganyi took married in the Malulekas, the firstborn and the lastborn.
Wait. So in other words, you married one, they gave you banzel.
And that's one I think would start coming to the sister to assist with the washing and other stuff.
No. I want you to understand this part. I want you to understand this part. Because deliberately, I want us to talk about all these types of marriages that African people entered into.
Oh, yeah.
So, for example, Reina, they don't want to break the family relations, and then because ola o shota ka engeng tshwara o a shota ka ntwe because ordinarily if na shota no mo jiksetsa morago or no ilo bas sort of slave go kata mosadi wa from another tribe o go tswenya because o tla a tseba o sokollaeng but ola wa se sia ga a totlang o tlo ba tseba no.
So example has na bana na ba khona tsia sisi ne.
Yes.
He o a tswala bana wa tseba bana ba ke ba ma ke ba o.
Yes.
Ba bitsa o mma o ba mitsa mma even le konna go ntate moholo na nyitse ba bedi akere le baba o na le bana mara le ba na ba bitsa o mma o ba mitsa mma
because they recognize that she's junior in the marriage. Yes. So yeah, so I want us to come and discuss that
marriage,
yes, all and all the times.
Le o ne morato ba se tsonga ke morato wa tsena a khono khudisha bana ba ka gore o ka se tle mokanse a tlo khudisha bana ba magunda
Jesus
tshwanze be magunda go disha madi a rena.
No, let's agree for you to come back.
And an issue ya dikoma question e gore mo setšhabeng sa rena esa ne musola na koma le khomba ya ke ya basadi musola gona ke eng ka gore matšatša e sa swihlangi a khombeni a ngomeni. And then remember that these things that they teach them there that are supposed to be when you have matured of age, maybe 18, ready for marriage. So go ruta ngwana wa 13 years ngwanyana dilo tša mapai mo ruta ka monna mo hola ke eng ka ona he ba boya ba thoma experiment ba thoma go jola ba nyako lujina ba di bona kwa ba thoma go nyako di dia ba ithutile metsoko na o hlola o dutile ba khala ba tsuba ba nwa go kome ithuta dilo tšeo o tlo o ngwana influence ba le majeja ka re mo kgwebo and then culture la rena ra isenya ka o risha bana mo dilo tšere ba expose mo lo tša batho ba bagolo
a o tshabe gore ba tlo o bolela ditaba tša ka kwa and ditaba tša ka kwa di
a ra tsena deep mara re ra gore batho ba boya behavior
yes
o tseba ka monna o ne 13 le go khotsofatsa monna o ra information o di hanga yona mola na ba tshwantse
ba ile re wena o tseba ka eng gore ba bolela eng ka kwa wa bona taba ye e dira gore go be difficult go bolela maboshaedi a setšo sa rena because go na le lo tšelo reng deliberately ba re o ska di bolela a di boledi so ge di na le diphoso we are afraid to talk about
o di address ka
exactly but if you are willing let's say you look at lo bolela ka
a ke ne mo go khupisha batho ga le ba nthoile ka bontšha ona bothata
a re tswala go gopela re tswala is too long and then none we agree you are going to come back to discuss the types of marriages and then to compare le just rani bialo and then uta tshela le ya koma because it linka directly because ke preparation because ke rite of passage.
That's correct.
Everyone in most cultures ba o prepare over monno mo bjang that's why ga ne be le struggle in family because comma it was preparatory school by which a rite of passage oba monna
o khona emela the challenges e kota go na bana botlamuleri e timela e ba wa nuna wa muti le go re wa nsati wa
Yes.
itse o kgone o e tshwara ka bo
dilo tse di o tlhagelang ba setse ba o boditse mo le goreng a se batswadi ba go ba o boditse
a ka batswadi a shantse ba
Exactly.
pele
No, re ka se go botse in a fair way and re ka se go botse le the harshest reality
ra go
re le
see.
batswadi le koma it was serving that purpose and it was
Yeah.
important.
It was very important.
Yes, but
Na-
gani
na-
bjalo
na ba nyaka le masole na ba nyaka monao wa lepe
yes, so gani bjalo ngwana wa 13 years o thoma puberty and nakoela it was the right time gore o mo shekomeng ka yona nako ene
Ka gore e se ka
and
wa
o thoma go mmotsa gore ntwe a ya sona re tsene mo ge e ka tsena mo go tlo ba le ntho
ba le-
so
eh.
wa bona e tsena mo go le nako
and ga ba nyalo e sa le ba banyana
Exactly.
bo ma 15
Exactly.
already so it will serve a purpose then
correct but gane bjalo re shiftile it's around 25 years because o tlo ba dirile dilo tse ka o fela tsona di nyakang
Yeah.
so wena o mo fa 10 years advanced knowledge guys, sorry to make it very long, much and politically correct. Please just tell us what you feel about what we do. We know it's a long one. If you are seeing part 2, maybe just try to check part 1 as well. Thank you very much. Tell us your opinions. What do you feel about this? And also, let's encourage each other. Let's get educated while we are being educated without swearing at anyone. Thank you very much. Katla.